Everyone, my name is Stix and welcome to our daily Leetcode challenge, merge strings alternately. So we are giving two strings, word 1 and word 2. And what we want to do is we want to merge the strings by adding letters in alternating order, starting with word 1. If a string is longer than other, append the additional letters onto the end of the merged string. So for an example, if we are giving two equal strings, ABC and PQR, what we're going to do is we're going to add A, and then we're going to add P and B and Q and so on and so on and so on. Now, in the second example, if we get unequal strings, what we want to do is basically we want to add the A and then the P. After that, we want to add the B and then the Q. And once we ended up with word 1, we want to append the rest of the letters in word 2. So we end up with A, P, B, Q, and the rest of the word 2, which is RS. So since we're doing it in Java, we're going to use our string builder class, which is essentially going to help us to create a string, a mutable string, so we don't need to constantly change the regular string. So we're going to get a new string builder actually, and we call it result. And then we want basically two pointers. We want pointer I, which is going to be used for word 1, and we want pointer J, which is going to be used to word 2. And we're going to assign them a 0. And then we're going to start appending our letters. So we're going to use a while loop, and we are going to say this: while I is smaller than word 1 CUDA length, and J is smaller than word 2 dot length. Basically what we want to say is we want to iterate through the letters in each and every string, and until we end with one of them. Basically, if let's just say we got one word with 2 letters and the other one with 4 letters, so what we want to do is we want to run at least the 2 letters that we got in the smaller string. So while we are doing that, what we want to do is we're going to take result and we're going to append it the word 1 using the char at method at the place I, and we want to increment I afterwards. What we want to do next is we're going to take results, the same result, okay, and now we want to change it to word 2 and using the other index, which is J. And after every iteration, we're going to increment I and J until no longer one of them is going to be met with the requirements. So we're going to go through this while loop, and what's going to happen is that either I or either J got to the end of their strings. So we can check that accordingly, but we can do it much more simpler than that. We can just say, okay, I know there is going to be a while loop for either I or J, I'm not sure. So let's just say, for example, I is the longer word. So we're going to continue to do the same thing we did in our first while loop, just with I. And we're going to say, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to append it. So I'm going to take result and append the rest of the word 1, and it's going to keep, and it's continue going to do that until we're going to reach the end of the string. Now, if J is the longer string, so what we're going to do is basically copy it and say, instead of I, we're going to use J, and instead of word 1, we're going to use word 2. Okay, and what we're going to do is basically the same thing we did in our main while loop, but this will help us to check whether we are not finished with word 1 or word 2. Now, once we went through all of the letters and appended them to our result, what we want to do, since we are asked to return a string and not a string builder, we're going to say return result and then use our method to strings so we can convert it. And let's just see if we got it right. Seems okay. And just submit it. And we got it right. So if you got any more questions, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching.